okay, Jordan Peterson, prime example. If he's not using pronouns, he's going to lose his job, right? Mm-hmm. So if you know that, and you love your job, and you love your paycheck, you're going to use the pronouns. Mm-hmm. You're going to do whatever it is that they're wanting. You know, it's gotten tyrannical at this point, because now you don't even have the choice to agree with it or not. If you don't, I'm gonna cancel culture. That's the weapon of mass destruction that the left has. It's cancel culture.
Yeah.
They'll ruin your job, ruin your account, ruin your everything because you don't agree with whatever. So now, you know, you have people that can't, that are so afraid of being othered that they're going to go along with it and want to be accepted by the crowd that's doing the damage, right?
Yeah.
If you've got some big, huge person standing next to you and they're looking out at a crowd and they're just swinging an axe and just cutting whoever doesn't agree with them, where are you going to stand? Out in the crowd, or are you going to stand right next to the person and you can't get hit with the axe? That's what society is doing.
Yeah.
They are clinging to the person with the axe. And the axe that's swinging is transhumanism. And you're like, I'm just going to go along with it and be on the good side. So you know what? My kid's trans. You know, there's videos out of, you know, there's one out where this little boy, his mom and his brother are on camera, and they're talking about like pride praise or pride or whatever. And the little boy says, well, my mom doesn't care if I'm gay or lesbian or whatever. She just cares that I'm a part of it. And the like, what do you mean? And then the little boy, and it's all like, I don't know how it got out. Like, I don't know why the mom released this, but he goes, well, unless it was live. And he's like, well, you're just going to make me do it if I'm not doing it, or something like that. Like, the mom was forcing the kid to be a part of this, even though he wasn't, you know, gay or anything. And so it was like, it's more or less, it's not I'm going to make you gay or make you trans, but I'm going to make you support this. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it in society, because right now society has no tolerance for people who have opposing beliefs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, you know, it's like...
It's like that it's like that in everything right now.
Yeah.
It's like that in the COVID arena. It's that in the trans arena.
Yeah.
It's like that in the race arena.
Yeah.
It's running rampant.
Yeah, I mean, it's a line, right? A very clear line. You're either on one side or the other. And you want to make sure you're... And if you think, I'm going to survive on the side that's supporting this, then people are going to do it.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be people that's like, I'm going to die on this hill. I'm not going to support this. Like, this is not worth it.
So having been through, you know, what you guys have been through as a couple, what advice do you have for somebody whose partner's thinking about transitioning or detransitioning?
I think with transitioning, I would really ask, like, what is it about you that feels, you know, this way? What feels like, if I were, you know, some of the things that I used to ask Kristen are like, what feels like a woman to you? Like, what do you do, or what do you think? Like, what are you, aside from anything you could put on or any kind of appearance, what are you doing and thinking that you think is more woman-like than man-like? And that is where the hang-up happens, I think, for a lot of people. Because, you know, like was mentioned, it's more of like an observing mimicry than like, I want to feel like that. I want to be that. What do I need to do to present, like, you know? And so you look at like Dylan Mulvaney, for example. It's 1000% stereotyped. You know, like, oh, I went to the ladies' room and like the girl next to me asked me under the toilet for a tampon. Like, that didn't happen. It's just a stereotypical thing that men think happens to women in restrooms. And yeah, it might, or it has, but to act it, you know, it's just all, it's
pretend.
It's all pretend.
At what point do you think you go into a supporting role?
That's a different, now see, that's, that I don't know that I can answer because I've not, when I met Kristen, she was already Kristen. There was no, I didn't have to like go from like man to support you into being a woman. I don't know how that would look for me now. 2 years ago, when I was a little bit more under the influence of like leftist ideology, I might have answered that totally different. More of like, oh, okay, well, just kind of laissez-faire, blah about it. Not really thinking, just writing the surface. That's probably the answer I would have given. Now, I think with Kristen it's different because it's already been established. Like the feminine's already been established. But if it was just like, if I was just in a relationship with, a male for 10 years, like a dude male, and like no inclination, no anything of this. And then they're like, I think that, I would still support them, but not maybe, I don't know, probably the intimacy would lack. The intimacy would go down. So maybe it would go into more of like a friendship supporting role, because probably that person would be pursuing other things, would want to really change their life and pursue different things anyways. Yeah, that's difficult. It would be problematic for me now, for sure. Seeing what's happening to women just in general, that would be really problematic for me to be in a relationship with a man now who transitioned into a woman. With Kristen, I don't know. I don't see her as a woman, but I don't know. It's almost like
you never saw her as a woman, so you were already somewhat in a supporting role for
yes.
the detransition.
I was in a supporting role for both. Like when we met, I was buying women's clothes. I was doing whatever, because like I said, like when we met, it was two people who had a lot to share with each other, who just shared it. And so I wasn't looking to like get anything out of it more than just like, hey, you're cool, you've been through a lot, hey, like maybe we can talk and like help each other out. Like it wasn't ever, I had no like ulterior motives or any kind of intention. So I immediately was in a supporting role. And so that role is, it would be much harder to be in a supporting role from one person going into a new gender than just going to the one they already were. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
it's
can
just like a
understand that.
kind of, and because like I think some of the transitioning had already happened. Like in everyday life, you would not know probably. Other than like boobs or something, but like just general like mannerisms or, it's not like, it wasn't like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was hanging out. It was like hanging out with a girl or a guy. But there were some really cool aspects of it, for sure. Like fun aspects. Like, how many women get to be like, okay, this is really actually funny. Like I didn't wear a lot of makeup. I still don't. I didn't have a lot of like feminine, like real, like wild feminine. Like I've just recently also come into a lot of my femininity. I got out of an abusive marriage that was really horrible. And now I'm just kind of like exploring. So like with Kristen, I was like, hey, like you got really good makeup, like way better stuff than I have. And so like how many people get to have that relationship where I'm like, hey, can I get that lip liner? Can I try that? Like I never even wore lip liner before. So there are some like really fun, there is a fun like happy side too that's not like weird. Like how many people get to say that, or like whatever, like little tips or something that I didn't know. That's just because someone wanting to be a girl and examining a girl so much might pick up on stuff that me just being a girl didn't even notice, because I just am it.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like, fun kind of things like that. There was a lot less pressure about my hair, like for sure, like wearing wigs, because trans people wear wigs, drag queens wear wigs. So there was a lot less of like, you're going to judge me for how I look, which was cool. That was like a big part of it. Lot going into a relationship with no judgment. Like, how can you judge me? We both have something that we have insecurities about.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.